Hey friends, what's up? If you are a follower of mine, I'm going to talk a little bit about energetic weight loss right now. I'm going to share with you guys how it came about and how I started practicing it. And I share this with you because it's something that works for me. It's completely different than what you normally see in the weight loss community. To give you a little bit of background about myself, I have a degree in nutrition. I have taught nutrition for a really long time. For 15 years, I sat with clients, I did workouts, I did nutrition, like setups, all that good stuff. So I've gone through the normal Western ways of nutrition. But I also have an energy background. I'm a Reiki master teacher, and I talk a lot about energetic weight loss here on the app. I have a whole section of my profile, 2 playlists that are included with it. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what it is, how it came about, how it works for me. I'm sharing this information with you guys just because I know that I wanted to get off of the hamster wheel of diets. I know how hard dieting is. I've been dieting since I was 14. I'm 45 now. I know how difficult it can be. I know how it can overtake your brain. I know how it can overtake everything. That diet culture programming can really just, it can consume you. And I spent a good majority of my life just submerged in it. So I successfully deprogrammed all of diet culture, all of that hatred of my body, all of that thinking that I should be looking a certain beauty standard. And my weight and my body just kind of fell along with it. So I'm just going to give you some basics. And one of the most important parts of energetic weight loss is self-love. From all the clients that I have seen over years and counseled, I noticed everybody had the same baseline, and it was self-hatred. And they hated their body. They hated that they didn't look a certain way. They hated that they couldn't get to a weight that they wanted to be at. They hated that they couldn't maintain that once they got there. They hated that they had to calorie count, that they had to restrict carbs, all the stuff that traditional dieting goes along with. And they turned it all inward. A lot of self-deprecating thoughts. And I was like that too. I was one of those people who would talk shit about myself when I walked in the room about how my body looked so that I could, make sure no one else would talk shit about me ahead of time. And I could see that all of these thought processes were common among almost 100% of my clients. So because I taught Reiki, I'm a Reiki master teacher, but because I practiced and I did massage therapy for a long time, I would do what's called Reiki massage. I'm a trauma intuitive, so I can tap into people's trauma. And I would start discussing with them what their traumatic behaviors were. And every time it would crack open some kind of a trauma trigger, it would dial it all the way back to a chakra. And if you guys know anything about the chakras or about Eastern practices, the chakras can really explain to you like where diseases in the bodies come from, where we have deficiencies, where we have too much energy. So I took that basic understanding of all of the energetic practice and I started applying it in my nutrition counseling sessions. And what I realized is the majority of people would get triggered and food was their addiction, whether it was restraining themselves from food and not giving themselves food, or whether it was binging on food and causing that trauma trigger to hit so that they would just hit it for their addiction. Whatever it was, I noticed that running theme. And I'm saying this to you guys up front. Not every single person has trauma that is connected to this. This is for people who have a thought process like mine, who have gone through what I've gone through. I've been anorexic, I've been bulimic, exercise anorexic, all of the things my entire life. So these are for people that need to unpack and have a very low self-esteem, have a self-belief that is wrapped up in their body should look a certain way, and if they don't look a certain way, that they're worth less than, if that makes sense. There are people that can process their trauma and they're self-aware enough and they can see it and they can flip that belief in a hot second. But there are people that it's buried in there and it causes the trigger for us to abuse ourselves with internal thought processes and food. So that's how energetic weight loss really came about. And then when I turned 40, which was 5 years ago, I started practicing it. And what I practiced is the complete opposite of what nutrition, like our diet culture, our Western nutrition civilization has always taught us. And I'm not telling you that you can't hit your goals and get a body that you want simply by exercising and dieting. You could do it. 100% you could do it. I have done it. I maintained my weight like that for a long time. But if there's underlying issues or something is going on in the body, it will come back and you'll have to deal with it all over again, which is the same cycle that I would see over and over again with clients. So what I realized is once you unpack the trauma and you understand where that stuff is coming from, you unpack the core issues. And as far as energetic weight loss is concerned, our chakras are energetic vortexes that pull energy in. And we can pull energy into certain areas of our body that pad our body for protection, which is also how we get our generational bodies. Like if you get your body from your mom or your body from your dad, we pull that DNA through. It comes along with generational trauma. So if you guys know anybody who suffers like this, please share this live with them or share some of my energetic weight loss videos so that they can start to see that they can break this down. They can unpack diet culture and kind of break free from it. It was like living in an internal prison in my mind. So what I want to talk about today is the belief system that is embedded with energetic weight loss. And that usually is one of, I'm not worth enough. I don't love myself enough. There's no self-love that has been programmed in there. And if any of you guys have followed me for a long time and you've been practicing this and you have questions about energetic weight loss, you can feel free to ask them today. I'm happy to answer whatever you guys have if you've already been practicing. But I didn't realize how important like your belief system is, your self-concept. When I first started digging into the trauma in the background and I first started understanding what was really going on and why I had issues with my weight, I really realized they were control issues. I was using it to control either. Thank you, Tyler. I see you, Tyler. Thank you. But I could really see how like my belief system was underlined in there, that no matter what I did, I would punish myself because I didn't think I was worth enough. I didn't love myself enough to do any better. So there was a time when I controlled my weight simply by punishing myself enough, which a lot of people do, and a lot of people have done successfully. But it didn't cause any kind of healing in the background. So when I really started diving into this, I could see that almost every day I would wake up and be like, I hate myself. I hate the way I look. I hate that I don't look like somebody else. I wish I looked like this. I wish I had a flat stomach. All the stuff that we say about ourselves that, you know, the typical person who can't stand their body and the way it looks, all of those thoughts would run through my mind. You know, I can't eat that. I can't have that many calories. For a while, I was alcohol anorexic, so I would say I could only eat, 800 calories today so I could drink later tonight. That was when I was a lot younger. I don't drink anymore. But it was a constant restriction in my brain. It was a constant overload in my brain. It was 98% of my day was thought about my weight, how I could control it, how I could, get past it, how I could get it off, how I could maintain it being off, just so that I could look more attractive. And that's where energetic weight loss was really born. So about 5 years ago, when I turned 40, I just decided to unplug from diet culture. And I didn't approach weight loss anymore from the way that I wanted my body to look. I decided to approach weight loss from loving my body as it was, as it is, and not as typical Western culture has decided to show us how to break it down. So I took my Eastern practices of energy and I started to break down my belief system. So every time I would get triggered by something, hey, how you doing? Hi from Sweden. Wonder what the weather's like there. It's got to be better than here. So I started unpacking my belief system, and what I found were the beliefs underlying it of like, I hated myself. I hated myself for looking the way I did. I hated myself for all the people in my life that told me you would have more or be more or do more if you were thin. And I really internalized all of it. And not only did I have to learn how to unpack those thoughts, once I unpacked them, I then understood that I didn't have a baseline of self-love to fill that hole. So I dug the hole out by looking at all my triggers and tracing those back to the chakras and understanding which chakra it came from and where the root of my problem came from, and old memories and things that you start to do in therapy when you unpack that stuff. But then I didn't know what to fill it with on the other side because I had never experienced self-love. And I was a person who was very codependent. So even when I loved other people, I loved from a space of trauma, which is what a lot of codependents do. And when I loved from a space of trauma, it was, if I'll get my needs met, if I help you, if I do for you. And what that ended up looking like on the back end was I still didn't know self-love. I still didn't know that I could exist in a body that I could exist in and be happy with it, no matter what it looks like, because I didn't have to uphold myself to a beauty standard. So energetic weight loss, combining Eastern and Western, it combines the nutrition aspect. It combines intuitive eating. It combines intermittent fasting, not in the normal way that you see intermittent fasting, not based upon hours. It teaches you how to reconnect to your body. It actually shows you from a nutrition perspective, which is what my background is in, and then it shows you from the energetic perspective, which is the beliefs, unpacking the beliefs, filling them with self-love, shifting your core concept, and then your body falls into place, which is on the spiritual side what people call like shifting timelines, or moving into a timeline where your body is the one you want, or creating the reality of the body that you want. It combines both sides together because I spent half of my life in hardcore nutrition and workouts and weight loss and that dynamic, counseling people and seeing the mental part of that load, and then the other half on the energetic aspect. So circling back around at 40, I chucked everything that I knew from regular nutrition except for the intuitive eating and connecting to my body and intermittent fasting. And I basically decided to come from a space of love, and I decided to keep everything in the house that I would be triggered by. What's up, Grace? I haven't seen you forever. How are you, my friend? Miss you too. But so I started keeping everything in the house that would trigger me, that I would want to binge on, which is counterintuitive. It's like a complete opposite of what everybody else does. Keep everything away from yourself. I brought in all the things that I had craved for a really long time. And the reason it feels counterintuitive is because it feels like you're going to binge on those things. But one of the reasons you binge on them is because you can't have them, and you restrict them from yourself for so long that we will literally be like, well, I can't have that thing I want, so I'll eat this bag of popcorn, and then I'll eat this piece of toast, and I'll eat something else. And you bring in all of these other foods, not getting the thing that you're craving, when your body's craving that thing for a reason, whether it's dopamine, whether it's a hormone cycle, whether it's a trauma trigger, whether it's a vitamin, mineral, or nutrient that your body needs, you're craving it. So I brought into my house all the things that I would crave. I got rid of bad and good foods. There was no more labeling. This is bad. This is good. I chucked all that out, and I started intuitive eating from my perspective of intuitive eating. So I go into that in my ebook. I just finished my ebook. It's available on my website, which is the link in the bio. You can instantly download it for $26. It has all of the steps that I took. So that's available for you guys right now. But I started intuitive eating. I started only eating the things that I craved, and made sure I gave myself the things that I craved first before I went for anything else. And then I would basically set myself up so that I would do intermittent fasting, but not intermittent fasting in a time frame, like not 2 hours or 6 hours or 10 hours, which is what typical intermittent fasting is. But instead tuning into your body so that your body allows you, it tells you how long it wants to intermittent fast for. So you learn again your hunger cravings. You learn again when your body doesn't need food, that it's telling you it doesn't want it. You learn again your hormone cycles. You learn natural binging phases. You learn natural restrictive phases, which everybody has. Everybody's body is like that. You learn how your sleep patterns affect your intuitive eating and your body and what it needs. You learn how your trauma triggers will then create a trigger for you, telling you if you are like a natural faster if you get triggered, or if you are someone who binges when you get triggered. So basically you track your body for about 3 months, because the first month you're setting your basis of what exactly does my body do. Second month, you're looking at the correlation between the first month and the second month to see where the similarities are. And then the third month, you see all the patterns. So you know exactly where your body's going, and it takes away a majority of the emotional guilt that triggers a lot of us in our emotional eating, if we are emotional eaters. So I'm not saying that everybody is. Some people don't have to deal with this. Some people can literally be self-aware enough that they can look at themselves and be like, that's an issue for me. I'm going to stop it right now. And they can move along without your day. I personally am not like that. I needed to understand my triggers. I needed to understand why I was being triggered all the time. I needed to understand why I hated myself so much. And I needed to understand how to build self-love from a space of neutrality in order to heal all of it together. So I'm definitely not telling anybody that you cannot achieve weight loss goals. There are hundreds of thousands of people on here that talk about nutrition and weight loss, and hundreds of thousands of them will tell you a way to get it done and have it work. For me, energetic weight loss was effortless in the aspect of punishing myself, like being on the diet roller coaster. I got off of it. I was allowed to eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I was allowed to have all the things that caused me to binge. I was allowed to exercise if I wanted to exercise, but didn't feel bad if I didn't exercise anymore, because I unpacked that as well. So it was shifting a complete perspective inside of my brain, unprogramming diet culture completely. It was like ejecting that program so that I didn't have to think about it anymore. And I was successful at it. So I'm sharing this with you guys so that if any of you are dealing with these same things, we were not in rehab together. I was in my own rehab, stuck in my house, going through a divorce during this. But thank you. We were not in rehab together. Long story short, I broke all this shit down in my head. I was tired of living that way. And I'm sharing it with you now because if you suffer with this, it can be deprogrammed. You can get rid of it. I don't think about my body now. I think about it from a space of I want it to be healthy. I want it to be happy. I want it to have everything that it needs in order to function well, especially now that I'm getting older. Now that I'm 45 and, every other day you're like, what is this pain? I really make sure that I'm watching what I'm saying to it. I see my body as a separate entity. And that's one of the things that energetic weight loss will show you how to do. It will show you how to get rid of all of the thought processes. And the reason for all of it is because your belief system creates your reality around you. And this is where the energetic and spiritual side of things come in. Your belief system sets your perspective, and your perspective and your self-concept are how you view and experience whatever your time is here on earth. So because of Reiki and because of, I used to talk about creating your reality. I don't talk about it because I don't want to get lumped in with those people who are like woo-woo about it. So when you adjust your frequency in your soul, you start to have like new levels unlocked that you get to experience on Earth. So now when people talk about creating your reality and they say you can create whatever you want, do I believe you can create whatever you want? Yes, but there's a caveat to it. I believe that you only want to create things that are already laid out for you. Like for me, I'm not going to want to create being, like on a football team and be playing football. That's not something that I would naturally be gravitating towards. So I think that we only want to create things that are naturally in our path. And I think as we shift our frequency and we adjust our frequency and we unpack trauma when we need to, again, some people don't have to. I did. When we unpack trauma and it clears the denseness out of our body, and what that does is allow more of our light body and the higher frequencies to come in. It basically unlocks new levels of the game. And with those new levels, it shifts your perspective. So the more I unlocked my trauma, the more I discharged it, the more I processed it, the more I let it go, the lighter my physical body got, which meant more of my intuition could connect to itself, to its soul. And when that happened, it also allowed me to connect more to love. And when you connect more to love and you love something like your body, because you're shifting from hating it to loving it, you appreciate it more. Think about anything in your life that you love. You take care of it. You take extra care of it. You want to make sure to take extra care of it because you love it so much. And when I hated my body, I punished it. And when I shift to loving my body, I naturally then also got more intuitive eating hits because my body would naturally gravitate towards things that it wanted. So I suddenly found myself, I always have eaten vegetables and stuff because I've been a calorie counter my whole life, thanks to Western nutrition. But I just started eating more natural vegetables and stuff. I would go to the grocery store and pick out foods that I was surprised I was even eating, because a higher version of yourself, basically a new operating system, gets downloaded into your body the more you clear out the denseness. So you naturally see your body shift. And that's what energetic weight loss did for me. So the weight loss of energetic weight loss became effortless. I did nothing but process all of my trauma, listen to my body tell me what it wants when it needs it, and intuitive eat from my perspective, which is all in my ebook on my website. It's available now. You guys can instant download it. It's in my bio. I explain all the stuff that I actually did. So your body shifts, and that's when people talk about shifting timelines, shifting into new perspectives. Your body will naturally shift. And I've lost 50 pounds this way. And I've been everything, guys, from 126 pounds to, I was 126 at a size 6. I was 147 at a size 6 because I was in the gym and I was training super hard. So I was all muscle, all the way up to 205, depressed, anxious, feeling horrible. Like I've been through every single stage of weight and issues, which is why my background was in nutrition. So I've seen a vast majority of that mental space that goes through it. And it just clicked with me with energetic weight loss that the one thing I was missing was actually processing the reason why I was so controlling about my weight, so controlling about my mental health, always down on myself, really, I hated myself. That was it. Like there's no softer way to say it. I hated myself. I had love for people around me, but I hated who I was. And I was always trying to fit a beauty standard that I was never going to be close to hitting in any way, shape, or form. Especially being 5'1". I was not even close to that beauty standard. So energetic weight loss was kind of birthed from that. And those are some of the basics. But when I understood that it was your belief and it was really what you think and feel about yourself that will shift all of it for you, it really became effortless. Now, it was not effortless from the space of dealing with my trauma. That was hard. That still is hard. It hasn't changed. It's like peeling back layers of an onion. You peel back a little bit of it and more of it comes out. And then you're like, how is there this much trauma inside of my body? I don't understand. But I didn't realize how much I had really packed that shit in. And I mean, I packed it in hard. So it's a road that once you go down, you're not going to go back, because once you see it and once you see the things that are inside of you and the way that your brain is working and the operating system that you're working on, and once you start to wake up, which is what a lot of people now call being awake, once you start to wake up, it really unpacks it in so many different layers. It's not just the layer of like diet culture. It's not just a layer of self-deprecation. It's not just a layer of self-hatred. It really becomes the entire world around you, and you start to wake up to everything. How everything is like this culture that pre-programs us just to kind of like bog down our machines, just to kind of make our brains run offline. So one of the big perks, I guess, of energetic weight loss for me was it blew me wide open. I've always been awake. I've always been kind of against the system and like thinking that we're in a matrix and all that stuff. But it really blew it open for me, which is what a lot of people call ascension, when they really started their ascension and moving forward and soul growth. And I'm not talking about ascension from a religious aspect as well either. This is spiritual. So it just really unlocked it all. And as I kept going down, as I kept digging a little bit deeper and looking a little bit more at the trauma and all of the things that I didn't want to look at, not only did it feel horrible to unpack the trauma, but on the other side of it, I felt a lot lighter. I felt a newer version of me. I felt a different version of me. And that's how people will say like, oh, we shifted into a different version. And every once in a while, I would then wake up and I would shift into a different physical feeling of a body. And I know that you guys have seen this. If you have dealt with weight loss before, it's like you go to the gym and you're on point with your diet and you're doing it all, and you go through like 3 weeks and you see nothing. You don't see anything come off of your body. And then you wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, it looks like I lost 10 pounds overnight. What the It's the same thing. It's always been happening for us. It's because as you were going to the gym and as you were eating those things, you were feeling internally like, I'm doing these things for myself. I'm doing these things to lose weight. If I do these things, I'm going to lose weight. I bet I'm losing weight because I'm doing these things. And your internal belief system starts to shift to a place where you are like, I'm losing weight. I'm losing weight because I'm exercising an hour a day. I'm losing weight because I'm eating carrots all day. Whatever it is. Your internal belief system changed, and then your external body changes along with it. Because for those first couple weeks when you were losing weight, you could look in the mirror all you wanted and be like, I don't know if I see any difference. But in your head, in your belief system, you're like, I'm doing all the things. So then when you would see weight come back on from a spiritual standpoint, you go through a couple weeks of weight loss and then you don't see as much as you want. And then you're like, I'm not losing any weight. I'm not losing any weight. I haven't dropped any weight. This is bullshit. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm eating the things that I want. And your belief system shifts, and then your body stays the same. So there's like an energetic cycle that matches the exact same cycle that goes on with that diet, like being on the hamster wheel of dieting, of going through the same cycle over and over. There's an energetic belief cycle that goes along with it. And because I successfully unpacked that belief system, I never went back to a belief where I thought, I'm not losing weight. Like maybe I'm not losing weight. Maybe I'm the same weight. Maybe I'm getting bigger. Am I getting bigger? My belief system just slowly shifted to, I don't have to think about this anymore. I don't have to think about if I am or am not losing weight, because I'm doing this for my own health, for my mental health. I'm healing for my kids. I'm healing for myself. I want to be happy. I want to get rid of any triggers that I had. I used to be a big alcohol drinker, like I said before. I wanted to stop drinking. I wanted to be happy. Like that was my goal, to have this mental space be happy. So because I wasn't looking at it as I just want to shift my body, it was easier for me to subtly shift little by little by little in my belief system. So my belief system started to look like, it doesn't matter what my body looks like today. Today, I'm going to honor it. I'm going to treat it well. I'm going to give it the sleep it needs. I'm going to track it and see what it needs. I'm going to eat whatever it's asking for. I'm going to give it that thing first, and then I'm going to give it some time before I give it something else. And I'm going to treat it with love and respect. I'm not going to talk shit about my body today. And I would do that for a few days until I could shift to a place where I felt good enough of being like, hey, I haven't talked shit about my body for a few days. I feel a lot better right now. So I feel good about my body. I feel good about what I'm doing. I haven't gained any weight. It's not going up. I'm not, there's no negatives to what I'm doing. So let me just continue on this. I had to do that little by little in order to get there, because I couldn't make that leap. I couldn't make the leap of I hate my body to I love my body. So I watched my belief system change to I look good. I look good. I look like I've lost weight. Oh, look at that. I look like I've lost weight today. Wow, I look like I lost more. Wow, I lose weight and I'm not even trying. I lose weight every day. My body looks exactly the way that it's going to look. I'm happy with how my body is turning into. And then it just kept shifting and shifting. And the more I unpacked my trauma, the more I would see where those beliefs came from. And some of those beliefs were deep, very deep, my friends. Some of those beliefs not only were my own, but they're generational trauma. Because not only are you born with the DNA of your parents, but you're born with the trauma that comes with it. And that's where body archetypes come from. That's where you get your mom or your dad's body from. And that generational trauma is stored in there. So I grew up with a mom who was very heavy. And what did I always hear her say? I'm disgusting. I'm fat. You're eating too much. So not only did I pull it from our societal standpoints, but I pulled it from my own belief system then. And what I built my belief system off of what people around me were telling me, not just what I thought, which was I could just exist and be happy and not have to look a certain way. And then I based the rest of my life off of that. All my thoughts and all my worth, all of my value. So if you are someone that has struggled with any of the stuff that I've been talking about, then energetic weight loss might be something that you want to take a look at. So available on my website right now is an ebook that I wrote, and that explains everything that I did, how I do intuitive eating, how I do the intermittent fasting, how I check out for traumas and my triggers, and how I go through everything. So that's available for instant download. You can purchase that. I also have a 3-month printable PDF. So that will tell you too. Let me see. I think it has questions in it that will ask you what to look for. And I know that's right, Amy. I see Tiffany on here too all the time. Tiffany and I laugh all the time because she's like, every time I have a big shift, there you are. And I'm like, ta-da! It's good to see you though. So that's how I know I'm on the right track though. When I see you guys pop up, I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I hate doing lives. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I hate doing lives. But there's an ebook, there's a 3-month downloadable track. So it'll teach you how to track your body, track your sleep cycles. I had an old one. I didn't like it. I revamped the entire thing. So this is not the old one that I used to have. If any of you followed me from before, it asks you questions about how to identify what's going on every month, how to see where your hormones are starting to shift, how to pick those up for women. And men have hormonal cycles too. So it's not just for chicks. I'm not supposed to say chicks anymore. It's for anyone. It's for anyone. It doesn't matter if you're female or male or they or them or anybody. It's for everybody to learn how to track their bodies in their 3-month cycles. So you can download that as well. And then I'm going to start doing Zooms, energetic weight loss Zoom, probably one for intuitive eating and then one for trauma, for how to deal with trauma. As far as trauma goes, guys, I am a trauma intuitive. I do one-on-one consulting for people. I don't do live trauma stuff. I'm not an intuitive that does that because it's people's very, very, it's soft spots, it's trauma that we're dealing with. So I don't go on lives and do trauma readings with people and things like that. I do have reviews on my website. If you look on my website under one general session, I have like 30 or 40 reviews from clients that are on there that you can read if you'd like to see those. So I do one-on-one sessions, but right now I'm basically promoting energetic weight loss. So if you're interested and you think this is something you want and you really want to deprogram yourself from diet culture and you want to get rid of it permanently, you want to heal your mind and you want to heal your body, this is a perfect blend of nutrition, like what to do from the nutrition perspective, and then what also to do from the energetic perspective combined, because I don't think anything is just one or the other. So again, I'm not saying that people cannot get their weight off by exercising and by eating carrots and things like that. I'm not telling you that that's not possible. There's plenty of nutrition people you can follow on here that will support that for you. This to me is about mental health. So if you've suffered from depression, if you've suffered from anxiety, if you've suffered from any kind of mental health issues, it's not even really about weight loss. It's about checking out your triggers, following your triggers, learning how to be self-aware enough to pick that trigger out and break it down without having to go through the normal methods of therapy. I 100% support therapy. All of my best friends are LCSWs. I will tell you right now, if you want to be in therapy, go to therapy. I think it's amazing. But there are also people out there like myself who I don't want to be led down the road of trying to figure out A to B to C to D, which is a lot of what therapy does. It lets you become self-aware and have your aha moments from the inside out. And I am 100% for that. But there have been times in my life where I just need somebody to tell me, this is your problem, so that I can address it, because I've gotten to a space where I'm open enough to receive that from somebody. So that's how I do my trauma tracing. I really figure out like, oh, okay, here it is, another red flag for myself that I got to work on. And I get tired sometimes too. I get exhausted. Here's another one, another thing I got to deal with. So energetic weight loss may be for you. If you have dealt with any of the stuff that I've talked about over the last like half hour, it may be something that you really want to take a look at. All of the lives that I have on TikTok, yesterday I talked about it just from the nutrition standpoint. Today I'm talking about it from the energetic side. I'll be on for the next week or two talking about it quite a bit. So every one of the lives will be just a little bit different because I'm going to pick a different topic in there. But you can follow my YouTube. That's also in my bio. All my TikTok lives will be uploaded there, so you can watch all of them. The full energetic weight loss video is on there. It's about 30 minutes long. There is a playlist on my profile where you can watch all the energetic videos, but weight loss videos, but I edit them together on YouTube as well. So you can go watch them there. There's an intuitive eating video on YouTube that you can watch there. But the ebook that I have that's ready, that's now available on my website, is specifically the steps that I did to walk myself through it. And you may be someone who already practices spiritual practices, so you may even want to add more things in. This was just my journey of how I packed my trauma in and how I had the issues that I had and how I unpacked it. So follow my YouTube if you have not followed it, because all the stuff is going to be there, especially with whatever's going on with TikTok. Who knows how long it'll be around or if it's going to change quite a bit because of all the stuff that's going on. So go follow the YouTube so that you still have access to everything. And ebook is on my website. 3-month PDF is on my website. And if you have questions, you guys can message me. I'm going to be doing Q&As. I'll probably do some of the lives here on specific questions like, you know, how do I deal with binging and energetic weight loss? How do I deal with fasting? I'll probably do some of my lives on those exact topics. So if there's something, if you guys have followed me for a while and you have specific questions that you're like, I don't know how to deal with this specifically, message me and I can talk about it on live. So there's that. If anybody has a question, I'm going to give you like 1 minute to write it so I can answer it. And then I'll probably log off for the day and do some gardening. Thank you for everybody who watched today. Please feel free to share any of my energetic weight loss videos with people that you know that it might benefit, because I know that it can be frustrating to be on this hamster wheel. So anybody that you can pick any one of the energetic weight loss videos, send it to somebody who you think it might really help them out and affect them and change their life like it did mine. It was life-changing. It was the first time in my life in probably 30 out of 45 years that I successfully unplugged from depression, and I actually enjoy life right now. And a huge part of that was because of diet culture and the way that I viewed my body. And you don't have to live like that. If you have been living like that, you do not have to live like that. So download the ebook. Thank you guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope everybody has a great holiday, and I will probably see you again on Tuesday. I'll be on a couple times. Take care of you.